Ooh, fancy. But now we need to test. You need the ID. Wait, so I joined this one as Anderson. So is this one?
No, that's HSTV, right? You said that one's HSTV.
I named it as Anderson Hall. Because we're coming live from Anderson. So is this one HHTV then?
This is gonna go on the podium.
Well, I gave Deanna the advancer, the slide advancer. She's the only one gonna be controlling it.
Okay, then no one else.
And that
So
reaches
they're
to
gonna,
here.
yes,
Yeah,
so we don't need anything up there for them to see.
Deanna's controlling the slides.
I don't know for them to see the slide, even though she's controlling them.
There's only 14 of them. So she has an agenda up there.
You think they should be okay?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't want to confuse them and put a laptop up there thinking that they're,
Okay.
well, sound is coming out of here. It's picking up that. Now we just need to know if it's connecting on YouTube.
So if you go to the YouTube studio, you can see. So where is it picking up sound from?
Is there? Yep, so my side one.
Go to the studio.
Yeah, you can see some there. But we need, there's one on there and there's two mics on the table over
So I
there.
think it's picking up sound from.
I turned mine off and I turned my audio off and I didn't turn the audios
There's
off.
no audio on it. It's definitely off there.
But
So go back to the Zoom. Because it's
Oh.
picking.
Yeah, this one is in me, or is it? Okay. Hang on, okay, that looks good. How was the view setting for this one? Like that? Actually, where's my camera?
You make sure they won't come off on this one. No, yeah. You won't. It's connected. Okay.
Okay.
Yep. That's your good. Over the.
Remove this.
Should we come in with give it something more? Sorry, we need to move the table up a little bit. Sorry, thank you. Okay, then we'll go for the
Why is it inverted?
Oh,
It doesn't matter.
Did somebody move my day? Did I move my day?
Sure. This is up there, right?
Yeah, that needs to be-
Oh, excuse me, sorry. I think it's good. It's working.
Can we put it there or can we move it?
Just for we.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Are we coming across some subtitles? Yes.
Yeah, if you want to signal me like that.
Are we seeing audio come across the YouTube?
Yeah, I can actually see it.
Are we good? Thank you, Teresa. That's the puck that helps fix up the audio for the YouTube.
Okay, and this is advanced, this is go back.
Yes.
Hopefully I won't have to go back. But you want me to. I mean, I don't mind voting it, but okay, I'll just come up, or I'll still be on, yeah, okay. We have the list of speakers. It's on? Yeah. Hello. Okay, you know this routine. Yes. Speaker. There's this.
I saw my name.
Okay, and so
I'll introduce.
you'll introduce Ned. Jack will introduce you. Okay. You'll introduce Pat. But we follow this list and we call the person right under it. Very complicated.
You can call him anything you want to. Don't call me a name if that's, I do one of the presentations if I go back to the back. Because I would like to go to Zoom meeting. And so I don't know what time of planning is finishing.
I have no idea.
I couldn't tell.
Well, maybe you don't want to sit here then in the front.
I'll sit here.
Just to let you guys know, the audio is live right now. So yeah, so they can hear.
This is live?
This is live connected to YouTube, so people on YouTube will be able to hear you right now. Yeah, just in case.
Is this the mic? Or is
This
that
is
the
the
mic?
mic, but that's got us connected to YouTube, so that's.
Oh.
connected to their web-
Oh, okay, so
We
the
don't-
mic is always.
No, it's not, but I will put it on.
Oh.
Now, okay, but I think we'll leave it on.
So let me start.
Yeah. Hello. I don't have a gavel, so I'm going to call this order. Oh, okay. I have to wait for the boss. All right, the meeting is called to order. Before I make my prepared remarks, I want to make an announcement that I was made of something I was made aware of a short time ago. Apparently, there are 4 residents in assisted living who have COVID. And I think that Lori and the administration wants to advise us and remind us all to wear masks all the time. That means in the gym. That means, you know, everywhere where you're not eating. And Lori also made these little tags to put on your badge that says, "Be mindful, please mask." And Barry can hand these out to you if you want one, so we can remind each other. He also has masks available for anyone who doesn't have one with them. If you raise your hand, he will deliver one to you. Is there anyone here who needs a mask? Okay. Yeah. Oh, Barry. Okay, I thought you made them. Oh, okay, Barry. Thank you, Lori. Okay, thank you. Okay, so first I want to thank all my colleagues for giving me this honor of being your president this year. It's a challenge, but I hope to live up to it. And I also want to thank Elizabeth for all her help in getting me prepared for this job. And what happened to the slide, Teresa? I'm waiting for the slide, sorry. Okay, so I want you to notice the template that I used for the slide. That's an homage to the events advisory committee. Look at the bottom, Pat. They'll get the reference. You know, they worked tirelessly to get this facility completed, designed and completed. And I think we ought to applaud them for doing a fabulous job. And it's really so wonderful to be back in this room. Okay, So now on the screen, today I want to talk a bit about what the Residents Council does. I want to preface you by telling you that, and you probably know this already, but never in my career did I have to speak in public before a group, right? It's obvious. So please be kind, okay? This is very intimidating. Right now on the screen, you can see our articles of incorporation. Those of you who were here for the pre-meeting, some of this is going to sound redundant. We didn't combine our talks, so I'm going to be repeating what some other people said, but there are a lot of new people here. So the Articles of Incorporation, which is our charter and also in the bylaws, reflect what we're supposed to do. When I moved here in late 2019, I had no idea what the Residents Council was, and it took me some time to understand the structure. This is a reminder of what our mission is. As the slide shows you, the council was incorporated to provide two main services to the community. One, to represent the residents of Horizon House in matters of interest to the residents and make recommendations to the executive director and the board of trustees. And I intend to fulfill that mission, Mike. And two, to be responsible for the general supervision of the social, entertainment, resources, and services activities of a Horizon House conducted by residents. And the word general in that statement means just that. We supervise in the sense that we authorize committees, we give them a budget, we help them if they ask for help, and we just allow them to produce their programs and do what they want. We don't have any restrictions on what they want to provide, as long as it's legal, that is. Remember that. This may seem an insignificant task. We don't run Horizon House. We don't make operational decisions, although we do provide feedback for sure. All we do is provide stuff for us to do. However, this is exactly what makes us unique. The council committees are open to all people, all members, all residents, and they can join anytime they want. Shortly before I moved in and before I could find my way around here, we shut down and I was not able to experience what Horizon House had to offer. As some of you know, I worked on getting Zoom up and running and people familiar with it so that we could do our programs, but it wasn't exactly what we were used to. I had no idea what I was missing. And now I feel like we're coming out of a fog. For those who have been here for a while, I'm sure it's a familiar joy to be able to congregate and participate in person. For the newcomers, you're getting a taste of what Horizon House used to be, a fully engaged community with vibrant activities run by the residents. We are different in that respect from most other retirement communities. I was looking in the archives and I found that the records show that very early in our existence, in 1962, the residents became responsible for social entertainment and hobby activities. And in 1963, a formal document was signed with the trustees. Residents initially funded the activities by running pay-to-play bridge parties and bake sales. Yeah, that's true. In 1981, a flea market was started, and that obviously is a precursor of the Monday market. We have grown into a community with something for everyone. Most of us chose Horizon House because of this culture, and we want to keep it going. And as the saying goes, it takes a village. And it really does. It will take participation by all of us as committee members, leaders, Monday market volunteers. We don't have an activities director, so nothing happens without us. And if we don't have Monday market, we can't pay for our activities. If you've been paying attention this week, you know that within just a few days, we had some incredible programming here. Just to name a few, we had Grant's wonderful cathedral series, an art lecture that was mesmerizing, an ophthalmologist who taught us about our aging eyes, and Bernice Kastner's son, an astronomer, who told us about the wonders of the James Webb Telescope. Where can you go to find programs like this? I mean, it's really amazing. So I would like all residents, those of you out there watching on television as well, to explore what we have to offer by attending our programs, but also by joining committees and or volunteering in the Monday market. In doing so, you can find people who share your passions and interests, whether intellectual, art, music, whatever, and you can assist in keeping our culture going. If you're already on a committee, consider taking on a leadership role. If you're new here and don't have to wait, you don't have to wait for committee signups. You can contact the committee leader and sign up anytime. You can bring your ideas to the council for new committees and activities, and if approved by us, we can fund them. Committees estimate what their needs will be, including how much they need for speakers' fees and whatever. And we don't set the amounts they offer their speakers. What we do is try to allocate funds equitably. Ned Lange, the Vice President for Programs, will speak more about the programs a little bit later. My goal for the year is to keep this wonderful way of living in retirement going, and I'm asking for all of your help. If we don't do it, no one will. So as they say in New Orleans, laissez le bon temps rouler. Let's let the good times roll, folks. Now, the other thing I want to do this year is some simplification of how the council operates. As every organization grows, it tends to add layer after layer after layer of details. So we're looking at that. And the first step in doing this was to combine all of the years into one. So the committees, the fiscal year, and the terms of the Residents' Council will now all be on a calendar year, starting this January 1. The financial, you'll be receiving more information in your cubbies this afternoon. We have cubby stuffers here going to give you some more detail, but we think that that will finally make it easier for people to understand what's going on when and when to sign on for what. And finally, I want to announce the following appointments that have been made. The coordinators of programs are, you might stand up if you're here. I think you're all here if you want to. Joan Bowers, Activity Rooms. Sally Wren, Arts Participation. Nancy Olson, Assisted Living. May Gerstel, Education. Wilton Fowler, Entertainment. Sam Sperry, Environment and Discussion Groups. Judy Ostro, Games. Ann Kelly, Liaison. Jeff Graham, Social Events. The administrative coordinators are Sally Wren, Chair of Employee Recognition Fund, and Vice Chairs Joan Bowers and Karen Smith. Executive Assistant and Parliamentarian Linda Merritt. Finance Committee Chair Sally Wren, and members Dave Schaup and Judy Ostro. Our Office Manager and Assistant Treasurer is the inimitable Lila Doyle. Where are you, Lila? And our Archivist is Marion Mura. I don't know if I haven't seen, oh, there you are, Marion. Thank you. And the Monday Market, last but not least, our Monday Market Directors, Jennifer Stucker and Barbara McCard. And where are my slides again? What's happening to them, Risa? I can't hear you. Okay. Okay. I wanted to show the agenda here because we're not at that point yet. There, okay, so now I would like to introduce Fine Ostrem, who's been waiting patiently. Sorry.
Thank you, Deanna. Thank you for having me. I always appreciate it. And I am so amazed that Deanna has not talked about being exhausted and looking at the end of her term. That usually happens by the second meeting that she gets totally exhausted. It's a lot of work, and we're glad that you're doing it. Well, what better thing to start off with than some bright spots, as we often do. And one of the big bright spots here, I think we all can agree, is the decorations and the setup for the different holidays that Oliver puts on. Right? Right? Woo-hoo! Oliver is here with us. You know what? Don't you think we ought to have an award? Well, I have one here for him. Woo-hoo! So, Oliver and your team, come on up here. This is a award that we have come up with called the Creativity Award. Nobody puts on the creativity that Oliver puts on in all of our decorations for our holidays. So, this is for you. And, yeah, standing ovation. Woohoo! So in addition, we have a card and it has money in it, and it's a meaningful amount of money. Thank you, Oliver. Well, that is a privilege. We are privileged to have someone like Oliver. No community can find, can hire, or have that kind of opportunity. So we are grateful for him. Other things to mention, the Anderson Hall, of course, here we are. It's wonderful. I appreciate it every time I come in. I hope you do too. There are still some things that we need and want to be doing. We'll be getting new chairs, new podium, the window film and glazing so that it is a little bit easier to not like run into the glass on your way out. Some drapes so that there can be times when you do want to pull them, but we do want the light to come in. So don't want to overly encourage drape pulling unless it's necessary. And then, of course, we've got the overflow for the fireside lounge and making sure everything all syncs up so that we can share the space with residents who are not able to be in here. So we appreciate your patience on that. Again, it's open, we're using it, and that's what matters. And I hope you're spending time in the space. We do have our small group sessions that kick off here in January 31st and Feb 1, so it'll be Tuesday and Wednesday. Encourage you to get signed up with Beth. We'll have some more details coming out in the alert. And please sign up, and we'll, if you have topics that you want to hear about, we always have an agenda, but we also want you to chime in with topics that you care about, and we'll set up those meetings. And then we're, in the new year, we always have our annual meeting of the Board of Trustees with residents on February 7th at 3:45 right here in Anderson Hall. And this is an opportunity for the trustees to introduce themselves. And I think that you are witnessing, and hopefully you are taking advantage of, that Mike Meekum, our board president, really wants to have people get to know people. I mean, it's really okay to have the conversation, to talk with him and get to know him and tell him your thoughts, as well as the other trustees. We want to bridge the gap that naturally occurs from a board of trustees that isn't always here and residents who are always here. So these are little opportunities. We have other opportunities along the way for people to do that, but please take advantage of it and join in. And okay, you'll show up because there's wine and cheese after, okay? So we have wised up that if we want people to show, do the food, beverage, and if the beverage has alcohol, that's good too. The other thing is just the CEO monthly report. We start a new year and we'll have new comments and thoughts about the year we're entering into. The fireside chat happens on January 27th, and we wanted to do the Oliver celebration because Oliver is going back to his home in the Philippines for an extended stay, and we want to make sure we had a chance to acknowledge him and make sure there was plenty of people around to do it. So that's why we're doing it today and not normally at the fireside chat. And of course, the fireside chat will be also live streamed on HTV2. All right, that's all I have. Any questions you have of me? You know where to find me. And most of you do. Okay, thank you.
Next up will be Karen Smith to give the financial report.
Sorry, I didn't have my paperwork with me.
Okay, my bad. I'm supposed to approve the minutes now. Now, our parliamentarian found data that said if we've circulated them and approved them, all we have to do is ask for any changes to the minutes? No? And then we accept the minutes as approved. Okay, so the minutes of the last regular meeting are approved, the December meeting. Okay, now Karen Smith. Thank you, Karen.
I can see that these numbers are absolutely worthless because they're so small. So I'll work on that. But I think there's some significant things to say. First of all, our income source, which we're so grateful for, is the Monday market. They have taken in 82% of our budget when only 75% of the year has gone by. So, and then as far as programming, we have all in the 9 months or 75% of the year, we have only spent 50% of what we budgeted for programming. So this gives us an opportunity as we go into the new year. And so nobody's going to lose any of their budget that they didn't spend. It's all going to be available toward the first 3 months of this year, and then we'll add to it to create the budget for the whole year. So I think those are really the main important things about the finances. And I can delightfully call on Jennifer to tell her story.
Well, Happy New Year, everyone. The figures for 2022 were announced at the December 20th Resident Council General Meeting. The total deposits, the gross for the period April 1 to January 1 amounted to $92,712. After a holiday break with no Monday market on December 26th or January 2nd, 2023 started with a bang. The January 9th market total deposit was $4,137. Yesterday, Martin Luther King Day, a holiday, generated a total deposit of $1,890. As always, Horizon House employees contribute to the success of the market. So far in January, we have our growth is just over 6,000. Barbara and I met with Karen Smith, the new resident council treasurer, to discuss the Monday market reports to these meetings. Our goal is to be on the same page and deliver clear messages to the residents. At Sunday's brunch, 2 models, a married couple, showed off Monday market outfits. They looked great. Future models are much needed. We continue to encourage you to volunteer for the various ways that you can contribute to the market's operations. Come in and join the fun. And oh, I get to introduce Ned Lange.
Thank you, Jennifer. And I can't reiterate enough about what Deanna said about participation in our activities and our committee events. The resident participation at Horizon House is what makes us unique. It's what we mean when we say resident driven. Other retirement homes, not only locally, but nationally, do not have the wonderful culture of full participation that we enjoy. Today, a number of our committee chairs and participant leaders are here. I'd like to ask them to stand up and let us acknowledge their contribution in leading these events and activities. Would the committee chairs and facilitators please stand up? Thank you, thank you, thank you. They are only part of the picture. You are the rest. And it's so important that you participate. Medical research tells us that participation is healthy. It helps you, and we want to keep you healthy. So, sign up time is coming. Again, it is our annual sign up for participation. We publish a program and activities book, and you will find it in your cubby around the 1st of February, and it will be accompanied by sign-up sheets. The sign-up sheet will be an easy sheet on which you put your name, your apartment number, and then you just put a mark in the box. Not very complicated. In any and all activities, you're not limited to one, any and all activities. We encourage all of that activity so that we'll keep you healthy. If there is any questions that you might have about an activity or a program that's listed there, and we've had to shorten the description some, so I'm sure questions will arise. Do not hesitate to contact the chair or facilitators whose phone number or email will be listed there. And if it isn't, you can look it up in the directory and ask them the question. Do not hesitate to do that. There are some activities that do not have a name of a facilitator or a chair. It may say TBD, to be determined. Those activities are on our endangered species list. If we cannot find volunteers and leaders, those activities will disappear. Some of them I hope we do not lose, but if no one's willing to help and participate and do it, so be it. We'll move on and hopefully find some more activities. When you get those activity sheets, sign up and drop them in the box. There'll be a box in the mailroom, and do it as quickly and promptly as possible, so you don't have to worry about it anymore. And then the committee people or the facility peoples will take over. If you are currently participating in a committee or an activity, sign up again. Very important to get a renewal every year and get them on the list on that. We will have an activity fair on February 24th, but we hope you have all signed up by then, and it is very poorly attended. But it will be a last-minute opportunity for those who have questions to contact the committee chairs who happen to be present at the fair to answer any questions and to take care of that. So I look forward to seeing all of your sign-up sheets. if you have any questions quickly, I can answer one or two, but if not, sign up. Sign up time is here again. I would like to now introduce to you Deanna, who's going to carry on.
I'm up here to introduce Jack Carr. And I think you all know how involved he has been in trying to help us protect our mental health. And some of us need it more than others, but he's been doing a great job. He's a founding member of the Mental Health Advisory Group. And as you recall, last fall, they released a study that they prepared of our needs in the area of mental health and some ideas to help us combat the malaise caused by COVID and other disruptions in our lives. They are not a residence council committee, but were formed to advise committees who are interested in pursuing their ideas. If your committee would like to get involved in this very important endeavor, contact Jack. If your ideas require funding, remember to include that in your budget request so the residence council can consider it. And now I introduce Jack to you.
Thank you, Deanna. When the Mental Health Advisory Group convened a year ago, about this time, 12 months ago, we set out to address three issues. Three issues. One was to try and identify the mental health challenges that residents here at Horizon House face. Second, to identify the resources available through Horizon House that will assist us in meeting those challenges. And third, to determine what's really missing, what's needed, what do we need to add to the mix. Early on, one of the challenges that raised its head was the stress and discomfort associated with the prospect of moving to assisted living. Now, I know that's not an uplifting topic to be discussed this afternoon, and perhaps some of you would wish I would not talk about it, but in fact, that's the point. We share the same buildings and the same facilities. We all have friends or know somebody in assisted living, but the tendency is to avoid thinking about it. The tendency is to avoid going there. And as a result, we know very little about assisted living until suddenly we're confronted with having to move there. What we found was missing was the knowledge of and contact with assisted living residents by residents here in independent living. And that lack of knowledge seemed to contribute to the psychological barrier that exists between assisted living and independent living. Why is this an important problem? Well, most of us will eventually move to assisted living. Let me repeat that. Most of us will eventually move to assisted living. And as we age, the usual transition is from independent living to independent living with some support and assistance, to assisted living with increasing levels of assistance. Horizon House gives us an excellent opportunity to make that transition without having to move to another community. It also provides the opportunity to get familiar with that we are transitioning to before we do it. For example, many of us have friends or acquaintances, people we know who have already made that move. And we have the opportunity to visit them and to learn from their experience about assisted living services and activities. Next slide, please. The benefits are mutual. Our friends benefit from our visits, and we benefit from the increasing familiarity with assisted living. We benefit from the knowledge we gain and the information provided by staff. An early common concern that we ran into was that information was not always up to date. That information on costs and facilities and services was not always currently available in printed or accessible form for public distribution. In part, that was a byproduct of the COVID epidemic. The economic situation made a certain amount of uncertainty in arriving at those costs. So there were changes in staff. And so the good news now is, next slide, please. The good news is that communications, marketing, and administrative staff are updating that information. The information on costs and services in assisted living, and will make it available to all residents, their families, and the public in an accessible form, accessible published form. This will be done on a new external website and in a new HH Connect spatial section no later than the end of this quarter. In addition, staff are planning presentations in Anderson Hall to familiarize residents and their families, to familiarize us with assisted living facilities, activities, and programs. And an effort is being made to try to find ways to provide independent living residents with weekly postings of daily assisted living programs and activities, so that you can know what activities you might want to visit friends and associates with. Next slide, please. While most of these assisted living programs are available to assisted living residents and are organized by assisted living staff, some are organized by various resident committees and wellness staff and interest groups and individual volunteers here in independent living. This enables assisted living residents to enjoy a range of activities and engage with independent living residents through musical, artistic, and creative encounters. And you'll hear a lot more about that at the next fireside chat when there's a spotlight on assisted living programs. When the Mental Health Advisory Group made its initial recommendations, implementation of those recommendations was predicated on the principle that committees, staff, administration, and residents of Horizon House would work together to address these needs that we've identified. Assisted living staff from other Horizon House divisions, and many independent living residents have come together and working together attempt to promote greater understanding of assisted living to help reduce the angst and the psychological barriers that separate us. Next slide, please. We can help and reduce our own discomfort about assisted living by getting more informed. We can call Patty Flowers for a tour, go see the facilities, chat with the residents, get a firsthand view of assisted living and its programs. Visit a friend who lives there, call and make an appointment if you're not sure where they live. And as has already been noted, although currently there is a temporary hold on visits due to a COVID outbreak, that should be lifted relatively soon, and keep trying. If you don't know anybody down there, become a friendly visitor. Get acquainted. Meetings about the Friendly Visitor Program are held in the Durham Room the second Wednesday in every month at 11 o'clock. And if you're not sure of that, or call Patty Flowers again. Attend forthcoming presentations in Anderson Hall by assisted living staff and volunteers. Make it a point to put that on your calendar so you don't miss it. Most of all, request updated information from assisted living with regard to costs and services when they are available. Look it over and share it with your families. The bottom line is The more we know about assisted living, the less our personal discomfort, and the better prepared we and our families will be if and when we decide to transition there. Thank you. And I want to introduce Ann Kelly.
My job is to introduce the leader of the event advisory committee. Please note the new name for this committee. And that's Pat Fritz, who will explain to us why that change has been made.
Hello. So we've changed our name. That better? Okay, thank you. So the committee is now the Event Advisory Committee. We're going to be a little less technically involved, at least in the near future. As this committee reforms and reorganizes, we'll see what happens. It's in the process. The committee will be a link. So the next slide. A communication link between staff and residents. Next slide. The objectives. To communicate with staff and or resident event organizers. So to connect those of you who are resident event organizers with the appropriate staff and communication. Does everybody know what a resident event organizer is? No, okay. It's a resident, one of you, not a staff member. They do their own organization, their own planning, their own setup. I don't know if it's the same as for residents or not, but it's their thing. A resident event organizer is the person who plans and organizes and is in charge of an event. Maybe I'll use Nancy as an example. Nancy takes care of the Wednesday night live program. She is the resident event organizer for that. Another objective is to acknowledge successful events. And the third objective is to identify the problems that occurred and possible solutions. So you're invited to join this committee. We're entering a new era with a new event space and new equipment. And I want to put in a reminder that Mike already mentioned this morning. We are here in Anderson Hall. It's a beautiful space. It is not yet complete. There are many things that still need to happen. The AV equipment will be coming in. There's a date early in February. I don't have the date here. Will it slip? Well, we'll find out, you know. Things don't seem to happen always when they're promised. So keep that in mind, that those things are going on. And I know that Brian Holt sometimes has to close the room so that equipment, the vendors can come in and do something. I think he tries to plan that in advance and around things, but
There's a certain amount of flexibility that needs to be there. Committee signups are coming up in February, as you've heard. Some things that this committee would find helpful. Are you a good listener? Can you listen to somebody who has a concern or a problem and really hear their problem? Are you willing to mentor others who are planning events, as in event training, which we've not done? You can just leave a blank, leave it blank. The committee will be doing a training, but it's sort of the feeling of why train when everything's fluid? Because if we do a training next week, it may be different in 2 weeks. Eventually, there will be a training on planning programs and about the equipment and so on. Are you observant? Are you able to look critically so you can make positive suggestions for change? Would you enjoy being part of a developing process? Can you be creative and flexible in helping to shape the event advisory committee as it adapts to a new environment and new equipment? I hope many of you, a good group, will say yes. Do you have any questions about at this point? Last night, Deanna asked me if I would say something about the post-event report form, which you got on your chair or every other chair. And there are a few extras on the table here, on the little table. So I talked about the event organizer, the resident event organizer, person who organized it. When we originally did this form in 2018, we asked that after every event, including this one, that the resident who is responsible for it fill out this form to give feedback. They have not come in very well, and certainly not in recent time, which is why I'm saying, one, resident event organizer, please complete this form. Anybody can complete this form. Any of you who are here today and have a copy or get a copy off the table can evaluate this meeting. It creates a channel for feedback instead of people complaining randomly here and there about, oh, this was wrong and that was bad and that was a problem. If we can funnel this information through reset, that's where you return your form, and then back to the event advisory committee or to the appropriate other people, that would be very helpful. If you want to get a reply to your concern, write that on this form that you would like to hear back from somebody. That's it. And I'd like to introduce Carol Roach.
Hello, everybody. It's time for burning questions. Burning questions can come from any Horizon House resident about anything that residents want to ask about Horizon House, of course. I do my best to get full answers before the next month's meeting. This month, we have just one question. And it's about that little round Echo Dot communications machine, the thing some of us call the Alexa. A resident poses this concern. At approximately 12:15 a.m., I was awakened from sleep by the sound of music coming from my Echo Dot provided by the IT department to residents. It was in the study adjacent to my bedroom, and I can't imagine that I said anything in my sleep that caused the electronic response. Has this happened to other residents? Any hands? Really? Oh my goodness, anybody else? Oh, 2, 3? Oh my goodness, 4? Okay, well, I hope this answer helps. She said, how might it have happened to me? How can I avoid a repeat performance? The answer comes from Joan Hudson, who is our communications manager. Joan writes, Alexa has to be prompted to do something. The device can't start on its own. The possibility here is that the resident may have had some kind of command or reminder set at some time in the past that the resident forgot about, or maybe the resident did something inadvertently that the device interpreted as a prompt. This uninvited late night wake up should not happen, but I hope this helps. Now it's your chance. If you have a concern about anything related to Horizon House community, even if you're just really curious about something here, please meet me, Carol Roach, in the Fireplace Lounge right outside after this meeting. I'll be there for at least 30 minutes to write down your questions and to pledge an effort to find a good answer. So bring your burning questions to the fireplace. One more quick announcement. This announcement is from Doris Ray. If you have any questions or comments for the Dining Services Committee, a representative of that committee will also be at a table in the Fireplace Lounge after this council meeting to hear from you. And now back to Deanna for the closing.
Okay, so you've all gotten to experience firsthand the technical difficulties, the glitches, the problems, the inexperience. You've got it all. I have a quick announcement to make. I received a report from a resident recently about problems with the North Tower garage. Her first problem was that as she was exiting one day, during the day, there was a group of 5 men who looked to be homeless, who surrounded her car, and she couldn't move, so she had to stay until they left. And so she was quite upset about that. And then a couple of days later, she was coming home, and there was someone following her into the garage, and she decided not to let them in. So she stopped until the door came down. And then she felt guilty because she thought, well, what if it was a resident and they think I'm being nasty or whatever. So I want to reiterate, I know security has talked about this. Don't let anyone follow you in unless you absolutely know who that person is. What happened when she got in, she waited to see if this person opened the door and came in behind her. They didn't. So obviously they didn't belong here. So please don't let anybody in behind you. Make the door go down and make the next resident lift the door. Simple as that. You know, security is a big issue here now. Times have changed. The neighborhood has changed. Let's be careful. Does anyone have any questions before we adjourn? We have microphones if anyone does, and come to you.
I also park in North Tower Garage and have not had the experience of being surrounded, but wouldn't the answer be to whip out your cell phone and call security? Call the front desk and have them call security?
Oh, yeah, of course. But, you know, in the moment,
Oh, yeah.
you don't know what to do. You're
Yeah.
scared, you're terrified, you know?
But that says don't do like I do sometime and go off without my cell phone. Because
Yeah.
I think I really don't want to be bothered with it.
Right, exactly.
How long Oliver will be gone?
No, this is the first I heard of it. I haven't, does anyone know how long Oliver will be gone? Doris, do you know? Oh, Judy?
I heard 1 month.
1 month, okay. What will we do?
One thing about the North Tower Garage, I think we need more light on the outside.
Mhm.
It's pretty dark coming in
Yeah.
there at night.
Does the North Tower garage door close if somebody sticks a foot, let's say a walker, something under it, or does it automatically go back up?
I imagine it I've never witnessed
Yeah.
it, but for safety purposes, I imagine it goes back up.
And so consequently, once you're in the garage, even though the door is coming down.
Wait,
And there may be somebody around, if there's nobody around, there's no problem. But a person could
yes.
come in, so we're not always able to control.
Well, we can wait there. What I do is I push the button, let the door start coming down, but I slowly make my way in and watch in my rear view mirror and make sure no one sneaks in.
Yeah. But even so, you're inside, I'm inside the garage, in the car, the door is coming down, but if there's somebody around, or someone can hurry up and stick a foot in, I'm not able to do much.
Well, that's when you pull out your cell phone and call security. Right, yeah. Yeah, right. I don't know what the solution is to that, Doris. You know, it has to have a safety where if somebody is coming in, it has to go up so it doesn't crush anyone.
Just to make sure that we understand.
Yeah.
That it is.
Right, absolutely.
I would say if you're leaving Terry Garage, the North Tower Garage, and you see something, please, we ask that you wait till the door closes.
Yeah.
If you see something and you don't have your cell phone, there is an intercom system as you enter in Terry Garage.
Really?
You can push that button, or you can drive around to the front, get out of your car, come tell the desk.
Inside, I can't get.
That button doesn't work anymore.
It doesn't work anymore. Oh. Okay. Sorry, did not know that, but if you're coming in the building, you can use the intercom system before you get into the elevators to alert the desk that
Mhm.
you've seen someone, or just swing by the desk, and let us know, call us on our phone, stop by, pull by, but make sure you guys are watching the door come open and close, because we don't want people getting in.
Right. Anyone?
The lighting was mentioned previously, or probably a couple months ago, at a small meeting. And the lighting for the garage, North Tower Garage, and it was assured that we would have improved lighting, but there's been no activity.
Is that outside lighting, Helen, or inside?
Outside
Because,
and
and inside is very poor.
It's dark
Yeah.
too,
Mm-hmm.
so the whole entrance needs to be rethought.
Anyone else? Well, then I guess the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much.